Okay, so when I was 16, I was completely and utterly terrified of semen. Now, I went to an Episcopalian high school, and even though I'm Jewish, I somehow ended up there. And at Christian school, you don't get like an actual sex ed class, you get like your abstinence-based sex ed class. So instead of getting to ask questions that I really had at the time, like, can you get pregnant from giving a blowjob? I didn't know. Or like, can semen, if it gets on your shorts, like, can it crawl and penetrate your underpants and like fertilize your egg? Like, instead of getting to ask those questions, we were just given this PowerPoint presentation with like these blown up images of gonorrhea and herpes and chlamydia, and told that God was always watching. And even though I'm Jewish, I figured my God was probably also watching. And I just remember sitting in class being like, why do people have sex when they know they could die or get pregnant or both? Like, the stakes were so high, I didn't understand why anyone engaged in this at all. And this was a huge source of stress for me at the time because I had my first serious boyfriend who I was in love with. His name was Alex. We met at summer Jew camp, obviously, and he was like this adorable kid full of zits and braces, and we were in love. Now, this was a long-distance relationship. He lived in Georgia, I lived in Florida. So every few months we would come, we'd go to visit each other. And to this day, he is still probably the best boyfriend I ever had, which is really sad. 16, because he worked at the Dairy Queen every day after school to make enough money to buy a ticket to come see me. So if there's one thing that he deserved more than anything, it was a real hand job. My way of sort of avoiding hand jobs up to this point was sort of keeping it dry, you know what I mean? Just sticking to dry humping and dry hand jobs, which if you don't know what that is, that's when you try to give a hand job over pants, which feels great, I'm sure. I hear it feels really good. But at some point, I was like, this kid is gonna want the real deal. So it's the 5th weekend that we've spent together, and I'm like prepping myself, getting myself ready. I'm like, I'm gonna get real with a penis. I'm gonna overcome my fear. I'm gonna do it. And I'm just so terrified. Like, I guess not necessarily of disease, because we're both virgins, mostly of pregnancy, but still of disease, because I thought at the time maybe you could just have gonorrhea. Like, I didn't even understand you were getting it from other people. I just thought like, oops, I got gonorrhea. Like, I didn't understand, and I just had these questions in my head from sex ed class that no one answered. Like, okay, so is sperm like a germ, right? Where like once it hits oxygen, it dies? Or is sperm like a bomb silo, right? Where you could have like an active explosive in there for 50 years, and then one day, blows up the whole town. Like, I didn't know. So Alex comes in for the weekend, and we have a very romantic weekend in Tampa, Florida. We go to the local mall, Clearwater Mall. We go to Hot Topic. And we go have a very sexy meal at Outback Steakhouse. And it's really a perfect weekend, except I'm avoiding his penis like the plague all weekend until Sunday rolls around and he's about to leave. And I'm like, oh crap, it's now or never. I won't see him again for 2 months. Like, I have to do this. So I bring him upstairs and we start snuggling and cuddling, and he's like, I love you. And I'm like, crap, now I really have to touch your penis. Drop the L word. So my heart is like racing, and I go to unzip his pants, and like I'm leaning my body as far away from the crotch area as possible. I don't know what's in there, but I know that I won't like it, and it's not good. So it's like I'm just trying to get away from it, and then I give my hand one final shove, and then I'm touching the penis. And you know what? It's not that bad. A penis kind of feels like a game controller, hold on, made of human skin. When it's hard, it doesn't feel like that when it's flaccid. So I just go with it, and I kind of pretend I'm playing Pac-Man, and I'm like eating the Pac dots, and I'm out running the ghost, and Alex is having a great time. He's moaning, and I don't know, making all kinds of noises, and I just am going with it. And then 30 seconds later, semen is in a cornucopia of semen, and I'm freaking out. By the way, he's napping, because that's what you do. That's what you do when you come. And so he's just napping and chilling out, and he's like, "What? Hey, babe, let's take a nap together." And I'm like, "Oh, hells no. I gotta get out of this landmine of semen now. And I need to sanitize all you and me and everything." So I jump out of bed, and I go to my bathroom, and I just start washing my hands and just putting soap on my hands, because I don't know how much soap it takes to kill sperm. I don't know. Does it die from sperm? Does it die from water? Does it die from soap? I don't know. So I've been in there for so long, and I've forgotten about my boyfriend, so I grab towels, I go back, and he's just like laying there. He's so humiliated, and he's so sad. It's like he's like a puppy that just like crapped himself. And I'm sure he was like, all I wanted to do was get a hand job, and now I feel terrible. And I'm like, we don't have time for this shit. I gotta clean up. So I start like scrubbing the bed sheets, right? But it's not working, because that shit's everywhere. Also, I don't know, if I don't clean it well enough, that shit could just reactivate later and crawl in my vagina and make me pregnant. I need to like sanitize it now. So I grab everything, and I'm like, I'm gonna just wash it. Put it in the laundry room, just wash it. And as I'm walking downstairs, I'm like, oh, P.S., it's gonna look kind of weird if you need to do laundry all of a sudden after an hour of spending time with your boyfriend. Like, I'm gonna need a diversion. I'm gonna need a reason other than semen to wash these sheets. So I go to the fridge, I pull out some apple juice, and I take it upstairs. And I go, yo, Alex, we need to pour this apple juice all over these bed sheets right now. And he's like, why? We've already made a mess. And I'm like, look, hear me out. So when my parents see me go into the laundry room, and they're like, why are you just doing your laundry all of a sudden after spending time with your boyfriend? I could be like, oh, we were just drinking juice. We were just in bed being crazy with some juice, and things got out of control. And he's like, this is terrible. But he does it, and we pour this apple juice all over the already cum-soaked sheets. And it's just this nasty mess of cum and juice. And I'm like, well, now we gotta wash that shit, right? So I grab it, and I'm like, you stay here. And I go downstairs, and I'm like, gonna outrun my parents. No one will catch me there. But of course, my mom is in the laundry room. And the weird thing is, the tip-off in this story is not that I had this nasty like pile of sheets. It's that I was even trying to do my own laundry. My mom looked at me, she's like, you've never done laundry. Like, why are you all of a sudden, you don't do laundry, you don't have the skill set. I never taught you the skill set, you don't even know. So she's like, I'm doing laundry, let me just take it. And I'm like, no, I got it. And she's like, I'm literally putting stuff in. And as she grabs it from my hand, and she starts smelling it, and she's like, is this apple juice? And as I look down at her hands, I realize she's touching my boyfriend's semen. And then I start panicking, and I'm like, I need to tell her to wash her hands, but I can't say that. But then what if she touches my dad, and he doesn't wash his hands, and the sperm just gets recirculated around my house and finds its way back to my vagina? And I've never seen the movie Contagion, but if it's like the movie Contagion in my head, we all get impregnated with alien babies and we die. I don't think that's how Contagion works at all. But my mom and I are looking at each other, and I'm like, yeah, it's apple juice. And she gives me that mom look that your moms have all given you, like, I know you're up to something, I can't figure it out, but it's bad. But I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know now, I'm gonna get to it, just hold up. She leaves, and we never talk about it ever again. So to this day, I have no idea if my mom bought my excuse about apple juice, or if she knows that she touched my ex's sperm. But we were talking on the phone the other day, and she's like, Ari, what story are you gonna tell for the storytelling show at the pit? And I'm like, well, it's dirty. I can't really tell you what the story, you can never know about the story. But actually, it does involve you. And she goes, oh, am I the star? And I'm like, Mom, yes, you are the star of this story. And even though I'm 27 and I know how sperm works, I know how like vaginas and fertilization, I know how it all works. Every time I have a sexual encounter and it gets kind of messy, I just have these flashbacks to my sex ed class, these huge images of gonorrhea. And And even though the person that I'm with like wants to hold me and snuggle, it takes everything in my being not to just jump out of bed and grab a towel. Thank you very much.